All right, boys, we are strapped up. Hood is on. Third time's a charm. Hopefully we can get down to Nick and actually drive this thing before it snows. For those of you guys that don't watch every single video and you're like, how the hell is this thing going back to the dyno? First time we went was with our eBay turbo kit and it made like 260 or something like that, something in there. Kind of sucked considering this thing can push a lot more power. Second time we went back and the ECU basically cooked itself. We had to come back and wait a super long time. This has been the longest process getting something tuned ever. And trust me, if you guys are feeling like annoyed or like this took way too long, I am even more annoyed because this is my car, dude. This sucks. Like I said, we're good to go. We're dialed in. I gave everything a bolt check. As far as I can tell, everything's good. The car still starts up and runs, so we are 100% good to go on that aspect. And I do own a car trailer, and I did sell my truck to get a Jeep, but this is not my new truck. This is my dad's. I told you guys one of the pros of me living it back home now is that I can build the Jeep that I've wanted to build for a while and still have a truck accessible when I need a truck accessible. I'm gonna need to get a tow rig, but coming into winter, I'm only gonna be towing maybe once a month or so. So the fact that I can borrow a truck to do that and figure out the rest in the meantime is still super nice. All right, so we are back.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
So we'll tune it, we'll see how much it makes, we'll see how much boost we can get out of the boost control solenoid. It'll make a lot more power than it did before.
Yeah. Today we kind of just got in here, threw it right up on the hoist because Nick's actually got a bunch of stuff going down because he's going to Florida next week.
Yeah.
Which I'm jealous of. But he's going to Florida and he's doing all kinds of cool shit, like meeting up with YouTubers and stuff. This sounds like a trip that I should be on.
This is the plan. Lots of stuff is in the works. I hope to be able to meet up with a bunch of YouTubers. I'm going to take my Porsche down there and see who I can meet up with. I'm going to go to the Cletus event. There's the 2.4 hours of lay mullets. So I'm going to go down there and check out that event and see who I can meet.
He's going down there for a good time. He's bringing the K Swapped Porsche and a bunch of people are going to be there, like Boosted Boys, which is like K Swapped Central, right?
Exactly.
So there's tons of people down there that Nick's gonna go hang out with, and he's gonna post all of it on his YouTube channel. So make sure you guys are following the YouTube channel. It's the same as his
Tuning by Nick,
Instagram, all that stuff. So he does make YouTube videos. He took a little hiatus, but he's been back posting some good stuff actually. So follow that, check out his little trip. And I guess big boy straps. And then I tied the solenoid into it's all wired up here, but I tied it into that one that you had it tied into.
Great.
And then I just kind of tucked everything up in the corner, wired it to the Hondata.
Cool.
So
third time's a charm?
I don't know. Third time's if this one doesn't work and then Nick's going to Florida and then it snows, we're just gonna put it in the recycling bin and start again. You guys watching this with earphones? I'm putting in earplugs. You might want to take your earphones out. Once he opens that exhaust up, it's a straight 3-inch, like right after the turbo dump. At least I warned you.
No thermostat, so it has to warm up for a while.
So oh yeah.
It's only at like 150 degrees. It's too cold, so I'm just gonna let it warm up and then we'll start doing pulls.
Okay, cool.
Change how the RPM picks up so that it doesn't do that squiggly shit.
He's still trying to work out the kinks and the boost by gear. So he's trying to, because we have the boost solenoid, we're able to do different boosts on different gears, which is sick. You can actually maximize putting power down. So he's still trying to finagle with that. That's why the last like 4 pulls have just been straight boost cut. the first time it's actually like smacked redline with this new turbo setup. That made me excited.
That last pull was 404 horsepower and 313 foot-pounds of torque.
But you can see the graph's still kind of like choppy and weird. Nick's not a big fan of the choppy and weird graph, so he's definitely going to try and smooth that out a bit. I'm hoping he can get a little bit of extra power. Something I also was not prepared for was the red line on a K series. Dude, this shit like revs and then it just revs and then you're like, oh, it's gonna be done, and then it revs and then you're like, oh, it's definitely about to be done. And then it revs and it's fucking nuts, man. It never ends.
Boom. 453 horsepower, 319 foot-pounds of torque.
Is that number accurate? Like,
Oh yeah.
or are you gonna tweak it and bring it down, or that's like actually where it is?
Sorry?
Is that like actually where it's gonna be?
Do you want that much or do you want less?
No, I want that much.
Okay.
I just didn't think we'd get it.
No, it's about right. That was like 16-ish pounds.
Oh, really? You got it up past double?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's probably close to the max I can get out of it. But
Yeah.
We'll see.
Still though, that's something I can be pleased with.
It ramps up at about 10 pounds and then like I just slowly keep filling it up until it was about 16 pounds. I definitely think there's like some sort of, like it's not the most efficient setup. Like that manifold isn't the greatest, and the intercooler is not the greatest, and there's a lot of intercooler piping.
But I will say, for people that have to work with what they have, we have a lot of intercooler piping, a not so good intercooler, not the most efficient sidewinder, and we can still make 450.
Oh, totally. Like on a stock engine, it's fantastic.
That's what I'm talking about. That's so much more than I thought, dude. I'm so excited.
We are officially gonna have to retire these wheels when we get back home. It's time for the new boys.
Because there is no way we're putting anything down on these.
The oil pressure light thing switch has, like the wire has
came loose again?
Because like the light came on, so.
Stupid wire came loose last time we were here too. Did that do anything? Alright boys, Nick says this could be our last run. I hope it's frickin' glorious.
It only ran like 13 pounds of boost there for some reason.
Huh.
It's for reference for you guys. Not full boost.
I know what it is.
Oh! So there's our numbers.
There's your number. With the exhaust closed, the turbo doesn't breathe well enough. It can only make about.
That actually makes a lot of sense. I was hearing a lot of like turbo
It was
suck.
like it's very quiet.
Alright, all the fans and everything off so you guys can hear us a little bit better, but we actually accidentally tested out the closed versus open.
Yeah, we were gonna do it, it just...
We didn't know we were doing it, but so basically this thing made like 450 pretty consistently when it was cold and like 440 when it was warm, which is still, I'd say, pretty good.
It was hard to work with this because there is no thermostat, so basically I have to try to bring it up to temperature by bringing the revs up, but then that heat soaks the engine, so it's a lot of just like...
It's like the rad is cold, but the engine's hot, and then by the time the engine gets cold, the rad is colder, so you gotta heat up the rad, which heats up the engine. I gotta put a thermostat back in it. Yeah. But you guys saw that, we just said screw it.
Okay, so check this out. So Nick has
3 different things up on the screen right here. The lowest one, this green guy, is our log manifold.
That's the old turbo setup, the log manifold setup.
And that was it, just cranked right max. Like that was the best you could do.
It was so choked. We weren't even effectively able to rev it out to 8,000.
You can see it drops off pretty close to 8,000 here, and this obviously is like the lowest one, and that was 261 horsepower and 203 foot-pounds of torque on the log manifold.
On the new setup,
The new setup.
the Sidewinder with the, even though you don't like the setup,
It's not a great setup.
but it still did pretty good for what it is.
It does the job.
At least he's honest.
So then these two, the blue and the red, are with our current setup. And basically, you guys can see the blue one obviously falls a little bit shorter earlier. That's probably just you
And
pulling out,
I
though.
let out a bit early.
Yeah.
So that's just Nick pulling out of this one, but you can see like the difference from 383 to 453. It's actually a lot.
Yeah, so like the blue is with the exhaust system closed. So you're just all the exhaust going through your 2.5-inch exhaust system versus the red there with the dump open and the 2.5-inch exhaust.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought that like you'd be running maybe 450, you close it, you run like 400. But I didn't think it'd be that
significant.
much of a difference. Yeah, so like when people tell you you need a 3-inch exhaust to
need
make
it.
your full power, like Nick was telling me, you do need it.
Yeah, 100%.
I do think it's kind of cool though. Shout out to Valve Exhaust for making that super easy to do.
Cool system. Like
It's cool
don't
because
get me
it's,
wrong.
yeah, it's just like
It's very-
so silent.
It's very quiet when it's closed.
Yeah, and this thing has a twin disc, so it sounds like a bag of dicks. So like when it's closed and I'm just driving it,
Yeah.
it sounds like a shit box.
Anyways, so we basically made 453 was our max with 320 foot-pounds of torque, which I'm
Actually pleased with. And you were able to get it to 17 pounds of boost.
Yeah, basically just touched 17 pounds of boost. It was like down around here, it's like 9, 10, and then I just kept on feeding in more and more boost. And it basically hit 17, like right at 8,000. So
okay. So we could still up it just a little
you
bit.
could definitely. Personally, I just think if you redid the intercooler piping, maybe did a better intercooler, stuff like that, just make the whole setup a bit more efficient.
Yeah, make it efficient.
We can make more power for sure.
Cool.
This is a lot of intercooler piping.
Yeah, oh, it's definitely a lot of piping. A lot of people do, like you have on your,
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go over there so they can see.
like a vertical flow intercooler like this. So basically it would come in one side and come back out. That eliminates the piping having to go all the way around and all the way back. You just have 2 stubby pipes right up, which is something that we can do, but I mean, it's a good reference point too, because like I told you guys, we were just kind of working with what we had for this specific build, and like even with way too many couplers, way too much intercooler piping, a terrible intercooler to begin with, the Sidewinder manifold that ended up being kind of a hoopty, we still made 453. So that's 450, we'll call it, is what we made total, and that's like a max, but like a safe max, because we're not even pushing the max amount of boost.
This is on pump gas.
Yeah,
This is not
That's
ethanol.
true. That's true. This is also on pump gas.
You could easily make almost 600 on this engine with ethanol.
You suck. This car's awkward because like it's super low on like the wheel side of things, but it's not that low when you look at it. Like it doesn't look super, I guess it's kind of low, I guess. Don't worry, I'm gonna put my wheels on it next week and then I'm gonna raise it a little bit, enough that I won't do this every time we try to get off.
This is like the only car that has trouble getting on and off my hoist.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shout out to me then. This is so the exhaust can kind of like ride it instead of getting hooked up behind it. Man.
You guys can't smell through this camera, but it just smells like shitty tires. Oh, check engine light just fired itself up too.
And now it's overheating.
Oh, yeah, that does make sense.
Your fan.
Okay, so the problem with no thermostat isn't,
No thermostat and no fan switch. So it's like so many problems.
well, it's not bad in the summer though, because in the summer it's like always hot, so you always have to cool it. Right now is a real time to have the situation, because like it's cold outside when you drive and the engine gets cold, but as soon as you stop or you beat on it, it gets hot. So right now is just like a no-go situation. And we also keep having that oil light coming on, but it like kind of goes away. It's on, it's kind of doing a thing. It's doing a dance. And you guys know I actually have an oil pressure gauge that goes with all these glow shift gauges. I just didn't put it in at the time because I didn't think it was necessary, but apparently it is.
Oil pressure, I like oil pressure gauges. That's one you should definitely install, just so you know, because this light has been coming and going. It's unnerving seeing the oil pressure light. So I would take care of that, take care of the thermostat, take care of the fan switch.
Nick can peacefully go to Florida now, knowing that this car is officially looked after, but he says don't drive it until
Sort out the thermostat stuff, sort out the rad fan, double check the oil pressure and stuff like that.
yeah. So basically we can get the car home tonight, but that little street pull right there was all you guys are gonna get in this video. You're gonna have to wait till the next one, just because if it actually isn't making oil pressure, then like we're just on a countdown of how many pulls we can do before this thing spontaneously combusts.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to damage the motor.
Thank you.
Right.
I appreciate it.
Always a pleasure.
Nick's heading down to Florida Tuesday. So
You'll be down there for a week?
I'll be down there for a week. I'm gonna go to the Cletus event. If you guys are, any of you guys are going there, hit me up. You can find me on Instagram, Tuning by Nick.
Send him a message if you guys are gonna be anywhere in Florida going to any of these Cletus events or whatever. He's gonna, like I said, have the K Swapped Porsche down there. So even if you think Nick sucks, you can message him because you can come see his Porsche, which is cool.
I really gotta build something for like wood ramps, dude.
I used to have a wicked setup, but then one of those big square boards that I used to use broke.
Now I'm just out here running the jankiest shit of all time, dude.
I'm just super thankful for everybody's help that got us this far, like all the time and energy me and Chris put into this thing, and Nick has put into this thing, and everybody that's helped me get it here. It is a huge buzzkill that we can't drive it, but you heard Daddy Nick. He says no driving until we know for sure. The oil light is flickering. I think it's just a loose sensor because it kind of ticks with the engine vibration, if you guys can catch it. So we'll save the excitement for another video. So make sure you guys are subscribed. If you are not already, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up because we're about to fix this thing up. Just make sure it's got like the gauges it needs and everything is good to go. Put the fan back on a switch so that I can monitor it, or try to figure out the wiring situation. I'm not even sure. We got new wheels for this thing. We could still make it more efficient if there's tons of stuff to do, and I'm just happy to be back with things flowing because the last couple weeks we've been doing a lot of waiting. I'm sorry to leave you with no pulls. Make sure you come back for the next video for some pulls. Peace out and stay committed.